Welcome back to Favorite Sembang Santai. I'm your IoT team, Zura Zahid. And today, we're taking our conversation all the way to space. Welcome, Dr. Mazlan.
Where's the woo part?
Okay, missing.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and thank you very much. And Zura, you have introduced yourself very clearly, IoT Queen. And you didn't introduce me, Dr. Mazlan, IoT Man, tak ada.
Oh, sorry. Tertinggal lah. Oops. Okay, yes. Welcome our IoT Man, Dr. Mazlan Ahmad. Woohoo! Okay, you
Okay, that's woo part. Anyway, today's topic is literally out of the world.
Okay.
IoT now goes to space.
Now, but this is on our part 2.
Oh yes, this is our part 2. We have our the first part 1
in our favorite Sembang Santai episode 25.
25, the last 2 episodes. So
Yes.
if you want to know more, this is going to be the new episode lah, part 2.
Right.
We go more detail lah, Zura, sikit a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. It sounds like a sci-fi movie, but this isn't Star Wars. This is smart farms, smart ship, and smart satellites.
So have you watched a lot of sci-fi movies? Tak ada?
But I know when people talk about it.
So you haven't watched like Star Wars, Star Trek. So if you watch that, you will know how exciting is the space.
Exciting.
So you will know exactly the difficulty how to communicate people in the space and down to earth lah. So, but nowadays people always think about IoT always on the ground. So IoT in the factories, in smart cities.
Right.
But the truth is, even the sky, our sky is now part of the IoT ecosystem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alright. So today we're going to talk about why the world needs satellites for IoT, the cool technologies behind it, who the major players are, and how Favorite fits into this new space race. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, Doctor. First question. Are you ready?
No.
I don't care. I just want to ask you. Why do we even need satellites for IoT, Doctor? Isn't 4G or 5G on Earth already enough?
Okay, that's a good one. So if you look at the global coverage today, around 15% of our Earth's surface has cellular coverage, and there's a lot of about nearly 85% of the Earth has not been any coverage at all. You look at people in the deserts, mountains and all that. So there is a lot of things lah kalau yang we tengok.
Wow, but the thing is that it's only 15%. So the other 85% are like oceans, forests, mountains, are all dead zones?
Yes, I think if you know that, we have heard the trip from Global Sumo Flotilla. So they have traveled from Italy, to the area that they want to go lah, kan?
Yep.
And there is always issues of coverage over there. So the seas are very vast. So you just imagine the fishermen also at the sea, cargo ships across all these oceans, like what I mentioned to you just now. The palm oil that they're very deep in the Borneo, and sometimes disaster zones. After a flood, there is no towers operations, no signal at all.
Okay.
I think that's where the satellites comes in.
I see. So basically, satellites are like floating communications towers in the sky, Doctor?
Yes, that's what we want. We want to give what we call ubiquitous coverage, meaning everywhere on Earth. Plus, when disasters strike and ground networks actually fail, satellites stay online.
Nice.
That's the idea. Ubiquitous coverage, wherever you go, you're always in touch.
Alright, so it's not just about technology, it's also about resilience and keeping critical system alive, right, Doctor?
Yes, that's the key, I think. IoT with satellite ensures the vital data that we have collected, the data that we have collected from the sensors, the tracking systems, or emergency alerts also always keeps on flowing, even though everything else stops.
Right. Okay, Doctor. Let's get to the fun part. Real world use cases. Where exactly are satellite IoT systems is being used today?
There are quite a few places, sectors actually. As I mentioned to you just now, areas where there is always problems, agriculture, maritime, logistics when you have to carry along different places across different countries, energy in the sense that oil and gas also is a part of the pipelines where it goes across the deserts, and also in case of disaster management, when there's no current cellular infrastructure can handle, so we need something from the sky lah.
This is something like mining, also one of the industry, right? Mining industry.
When you say mining tu macam mana Zura? Because
At the quarry.
the quarry, yes, not in the dalam coal mine lah. Because when you are under the earth, there's no coverage at all.
So none, even not satellites can actually help.
What exactly that you imagine when it's in mining? Is it outside or inside?
Outside.
So
Because
outside.
sometimes they are also like from remote areas as well, right?
Yeah. Okay. If that's the case, then mining
Also
applies lah.
Alright. Okay, Doctor, give us some example, Doctor, so that people can picture it properly.
Okay, imagine like you farmers lah, Zura.
Okay.
Agriculture.
Okay.
So you have very huge plantations. All these remote areas don't have mobile coverage. You know, mobile coverage requires to have even a microwave tower. So microwave tower have to go across very remote areas. Very expensive, you know. You have to build up towers.
The towers.
So that microwave towers have microwave dish and go across to another tower. So to go to that place is very costly when the place itself is only not many people over there and only a few things that you want to actually monitor, kan? So it's very costly just to put millions of ringgit of infrastructure. So you need satellites to do that, yeah? So satellites can actually capture from there, go directly to the sky lah. So all the soil moisture sensor, temperature sensors can send the data directly from the field. So you don't have to send from one microwave to another. You know, it's like multi-million ringgit path to get one byte of data.
It might be latency as well.
Yeah, so very costly. Latency is not that. But actually the infrastructure. You know, the cost of that tower sometimes costs $500,000.
Exactly.
So just to send a very small packet of data, you can have a 1 million infrastructure. And
it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
So basically, IoT from the jungle to the dashboard. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So in the case like another situation, maritime. Maritime, we have been travelling from Kuala Terengganu to Pulau Redang, kan? So even that area kadang-kadang there's no coverage or a touch. When it's out from the land very far, there's no way that you can. So you need the ships still need to send the location. In terms of their fuel status, they need to send their engine, their health. All the data can go to the satellites.
Right.
So you don't need to wait for the ships or whatever to reach the port to offload your data.
So it's like having a waste for the ocean, Doctor.
Wah, you macam-macam
Waste.
sekarang.
Not just car, okay?
That one is from jungle to the dashboard. Now is waste in the ocean. So that is a perfect analogy. You can track the ships, kan?
Yes.
Where they are. So with satellite, with GPS, you can track the ships. So in another example is disaster response. So disaster response ni when you want to send some alert, for example, earthquake happens, some towers are collapsed, so there's no way for you to send the communication.
Correct.
All being cut off.
Yep.
So where can you get the communication? Actually from the satellite. So,
okay, cool. So satellite IoT isn't just for big corporations. So it's actually about saving lives too.
Yeah, exactly. I think IoT isn't only about saving costs, it's saving lives and making people, safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So okay. So now we know why and where it's used. But how does the tech actually work, Doctor?
Okay. You want to learn about the technology?
All the techie stuff.
Okay. I make it simple. I mean for the audience.
Okay.
Audience there.
Yes.
Because technically it's quite complex. But let's start with the kind of satellite that we have. So let's start with the orbits.
Okay.
The Earth is here. and the satellite needs to move from one place to another place.
Okay.
So there are actually 3 types of satellites.
Okay.
What we call the GEO, MEO, LEO. GEO means geostationary. MEO is the medium Earth orbit. And then there is the low Earth orbit lah. So normally people call the GEO and the LEO lah.
Okay.
So when you are at top the GEO, you can actually see the whole Earth. Sometimes nearly half of the Earth you can cover. Because it's very high.
That's GEO, right?
So GEO. So that GEO. So it sounds like Star Trek kan?
It does sound like a Star Trek to me.
So,
but what's the difference of that?
So the difference is, macam I cakap tadi, the GEO satellite is very far. It's about 36,000 kilometer away from above Earth lah.
Okay.
So they can look at the Earth, very huge area.
Okay.
But because it's very far, 36,000 kilometers, the latency also very high. Latency tu macam like 600 milliseconds. The moment you talk, 600 milliseconds later, you will hear your voice.
Oh my God.
The other side.
Right. So if we talk over a GEO satellite, the delay would feel like calling someone on Mars.
Yeah. When you
So
talk,
far away.
people look at you, and then they answer.
It's loading.
What? You thought they didn't hear you. Then you talk again, and then they answer on the previous question.
Correct.
so it's not instant lah.
Yes, that's right.
So that's about the GEO part. Okay, but LEO is slightly different.
Alright.
So LEO is much more closer to the Earth. It's about 500 to 1,200 kilometer away.
Okay.
Sometimes you can even see the LEO.
From the Earth?
pakai telescope kan.
Telescope, okay.
But when it's very near to Earth, the latency is super low. So kalau just now it's about 600 milliseconds.
Yes.
So it can cut down to 30 to 50 milliseconds.
Wow.
So when it's that range, the voice, the data is quite instant.
I see.
So you don't see that delay when you talk. So it's like you are talking,
Instant lah.
instant lah.
So I guess that's what Starlink and OneWeb are doing, right, Doctor?
Yeah, these are the 2 kind of companies are doing that. And for IoT, we don't need very high speed internet. Yeah, we just need small bits of data. For example, temperature, pressure, location. These are the kind of data, and it's good lah to use that kind of speed in satellite.
Right. So we're not streaming Netflix here. Just sending, hey, the soil's dry messages.
Yeah, so don't watch Netflix over satellite lah. So it's low data but very high value.
Yes.
And very important data.
Correct. And there are also different protocols too, right, Doctor? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So when you talk about protocols, I think you have heard about narrowband IoT,
Yes,
NB-IoT.
NB-IoT.
So now NB-IoT is capable via satellite. So we have LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN also now on the terrestrial, is already also on satellite. And there are some proprietary waveforms like Iridium, Opcom. Each has its own purpose and different cost model.
Okay. Alright, Doctor. What's trending now in the world of satellite IoT?
Okay, plenty of stuff, and I'm very excited in this part. The new trends lah.
Okay.
One of the biggest trends, what we call is direct to device, D2D, direct to device, meaning your phone or your wearable you pakai ni can connect directly to the satellite.
Wow.
So no extra device needed to send this and this send to be. So you get your current device.
Oh, hold on, Doctor. You mean my phone right now can send a message directly to the satellite? No mobile network?
Yeah. I think that's what happened now.
Wow.
I think in 2022, Apple have launched this kind of service. This service is meant for SOS. So what happened is that when you are traveling, Zura, and you have issue lah, katakan you have emergency and you are out of coverage. You don't know there is coverage or not lah. But normally dia akan hantar dial 911.
Yes.
So on your phone you dial 11 and when it discover there's no cellular coverage, it says that you want to send via satellite. So when you say yes, and then you will use your phone, and there is an app, a radar that can tell you where is the power of the satellite. So you can point here or there.
You have to search lah.
You have to search, and then there is indicator shows that this is the best signal
Wow. Okay.
to receive or to send your data. So that's where you send your SOS. But this service happens only dekat sticker is only US. So it's not being introduced here in Malaysia.
I see.
So now all of the new devices like Huawei, MediaTek, all this, they have already testing it.
Okay.
So this is what we call a new standard. In 3GPP they call it Release 17, which they introduced the concept of NTN. NTN is a non-terrestrial network. So meaning to say now you can communicate between satellite, non-terrestrial and the terrestrial part. So they can switch.
Okay. So basically, 5G learn how to speak satellite.
Yeah, I think that's one way for you to put it. And satellites now learn how to listen like cell towers.
I see.
Because Zura dulu punya apa tu system. Satellite have its own ecosystem. They talk satellite way.
Just each other.
And the phones on Earth talk in the phone way.
Okay.
So they use cellular system. But now both of this macam ayam dan itik lah. So they can now talk to each other. So that's where I think the beauty of the NTN lah.
Right. So there's no alien lah between each other.
So both can speak to each other.
Right. Okay. But Doctor, why wasn't this D2D possible 10 years ago?
Because back then satellites were very huge and very expensive, and we have only GEO satellites. Now everything is very miniaturized. We have LEO satellites, and with LEO satellites, there's a lot of rockets being launched. These rocket launches are 10x cheaper lah. 10 times or 10x cheaper, thanks to companies like SpaceX.
Right.
You have seen SpaceX send rocket and then come back. So when they go to the sky, they actually send the satellite.
Right.
So they leave the satellite there. Thousands of satellites now orbiting our Earth. Yeah?
Hanging around.
So after 5 years become garbage. We have to bring them down. You have to destroy, clean up everything lah. So then there is this technology called AI beam management. So AI beam management means that it points to the right communications and give the right power. So make power more efficient. So they just don't spread the signals everywhere. So they only know in certain places.
I
So
see.
the beam.
So it's like even smarter lah.
It's very futuristic and smart.
Wow, okay. So what used to sound futuristic to us before is now commercial reality in 2025.
Yeah, and we are living in 2025.
Wow, we are already in the future.
So we are in the future. No more future. It's now.
Right, okay. Alright, Doctor. So who's leading this space IoT race now, Doctor?
There are many players. Some of the key players, I think, like Lacuna Space, Astrocast, Kinis, OQ Technology, MyRiota. These are the LEO satellites players. They are the one that connects all the small IoT sensors.
Okay. So, but you once called it, if I can recall, IoT postcard from space, right, Doctor?
So, postcards kan? When you send the postcard, you don't send like the whole bundle of letters with many pages.
Yes.
It's only one page.
One
Page, so small packet, a small information. That's it. You receive once, it's not enough. You send another another postcard. So sensors is also like this. Sometimes you don't send continuous data. You just send small packets once or twice a day.
I see.
So once maybe not complete, maybe twice a day more complete data kan. So it's like sending, I'm alive, I'm here now, and what happened? Dia macam gitu.
Okay, I'm alive and kicking.
Okay.
Like a daily hello from the jungle postcard.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here, I'm now here, and that's how it is lah.
Right.
So and then there's this Beidou from China. So they already have another what they call short message service like SMS. These are the devices that send very small text directly to your to the satellites lah, and they come back here.
I see. So fishermen, hikers or rescue team can stay connected even in the remote areas?
Yes, especially kita kat Asia kan, there's a big area of space and all that. So on NB IoT over satellites, we've got companies like Huawei, MediaTek, Qualcomm, Skylo, Link Global. All of them are developing D2D connectivity. Now you're looking like a cellular tower actually in the sky. Dulu kita ada tower kan. Now everything, the base station is really now in the satellites.
So basically the big players are merging the sky and the earth into one massive connected network.
Yes, that's the one that we are looking at. And the line between this terrestrial and space connectivity is now blurring very fast. So you don't see the differences. You go everywhere, whether it's satellite or not, you don't know.
Oh, okay. So, Doctor, what's coming next? What does the future of IoT in space look like?
Macam next you want. What's next?
Future. I only want to know the future.
Just now I mentioned about D2D kan?
Yes.
And now we are heading towards massive D2D.
What's the difference? D2D, massive D2D.
Massive D2D IoT networks. It's not only the phone. Now the billions of devices are now connected to all these constellations of satellite, like Starlink, Kuiper, Skylo. So this is what we call the birth of ambient IoT. So ambient IoT ni everywhere lah. Any devices, any assets you want to have can be attached, can be monitored everywhere.
Right.
So I can tag you by tapping you on the shirt. I can tag you everywhere. So you buy apa baju? Uniqlo ke LV ke kan?
Well, Mustang.
I can tag you anywhere.
Alright. So meaning anything, everything from land, sea, air to orbit, sending data into the same ecosystem.
Yes, exactly. And you should know that people like us, favorite, we will become the central brain. Kan?
Yes.
We will collect the data. We'll be able to visualize all the data in one place.
Right. Like a global dashboard from everything on Earth and beyond. Oh my God.
What's that movie?
Toy Story.
Toy Story and beyond kan? Okay, that's right. So once we have, once we connect this satellites, IoT devices, AI together. So all these new technologies come in. So we'll not just be able to we'll be able not only to monitor the world, but now we're able to predict what happens next.
Awesome. Okay. Alright, Doctor. Where would favorite fit into all this cosmic story?
So macam yang cakap tadi tu kan lah. So we can become the central brain kan.
Yes.
So now fabric can also become and acts like a bridge. So we bridge, connect the devices from the earth and send to the satellites, and we get the analytics parts.
Right.
So we already have a lot of things in our system. Our back end have all this device management. We have all the dashboards. We have the API. We have the way to send alerts and so on and so forth. So this bridge is very important.
Right. So favorite is like the mission control center for IoT. Macam advertisement.
It's like our Star Trek movie. Kalau nak tengok lah.
Anak.
You don't watch Star Trek, so Star Trek has a very big command center.
Oh, okay.
In the ship, so they can see everything. So that's what we want. We collect all the data and visualize it on the command center. And also, we can upgrade our content in Fabric Academy.
Yes.
So we can train the next generation to build IoT apps using both terrestrial and satellite data. Not only terrestrial, satellite data. So what can they do? I think you just let me share with something you can imagine. We have satellites that to capture the imagery.
Yes.
So this image can tell you whether there are certain gas, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dan sebagainya, or even the height, the altitude dan sebagainya kan, what kind of gases. So they can differentiate that. But of course, there is not enough granularity, meaning to say, if it covers a certain big area, but it doesn't know where exactly
the exact location
of leakage or the source of the data. So IoT data on the ground will be able to collect the data. So once you have these two data, one is the image, one is the IoT data. So with Fabric, we can combine these two data, and from there you can see different layers of data.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like digital twin juga lah yang kita selalu tengok kan.
So you get best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
So That's awesome, Doctor. So Malaysians can actually be part of the space tech revolution too.
Yes. We don't just look at the stars. We use them to make our life better on Earth.
Nice, nice. All right. So before we wrap up, Doctor, we like to thank Sam.
Oh, Sam, huh?
Samuel Lim is watching. Thank you, Sam.
Sam has been watching since the start of the session.
Yes. Thank you, Sam. If you do have any questions for Dr. Mazlan, maybe you can
leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment.
So you can leave a comment in our Facebook Live ni, and we will try to answer lah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Maybe before we end, I'll wait for some people to leave any comments.
Or whatever.
What do you think about the future, Zura, in terms of? Because I don't know why people have been talking about satellites nowadays.
I think it sounds sexy a bit lah.
Yeah.
Dia macam AI lah.
Yeah.
But suddenly now satellites coming.
Yeah. I think we have been talking too much on AI kan. Too much bias lah.
Bias
lah. I mean, everyone talking AI, and IoT have been in the back. Yeah? So no one's talking about IoT anymore.
Yes.
So IoT needs something to lift up again. I mean, to be at the forefront. You know. So we have been talking about AIoT kan. Tapi maybe it's not enough. So we want something, a new technology that complement us.
Yep.
So that's why we come satellite IoT.
Correct.
More sexy kan. And then we talk about ambient IoT. Hey guys, these two new technologies will overshadow lah AI.
Anyway, this AI also need to have a lot of data, okay, actually from space and also from the Earth.
Yes. So AI is still waiting for a lot of data, and IoT is coming back to the forefront. You require IoT data. You require a lot more data from the satellites, either image or from the ground data. So these two kind of data will complement each other.
And the ambient IoT just now, the one that you said, right, is already deployed or is coming?
It's coming. So the technology have now moving towards that, and the ability for these devices to talk directly to the 5G network and all that. So 5G is having that standards to talk directly to smaller devices lah. So that's why NTN is about ambient IoT. So these standards are there.
Right.
So people have been, as I mentioned to you earlier, normally standards come in almost every 5 years. They mature. They start the research for about 3 more years, and then they will firm up the standards for another 2 more years. For after 5 years, it will launch.
I see.
So when it launched, the previous technology is already at maturity stage.
Right.
So it's going to replace that. So when this technology decline, so this new technology will come and replace it. So slowly. So this cycle is coming every 5 years. And 2020 we have launched our 5G. So now 2025 is actually to the peak. So when it's peak, a new technology is coming in.
Yep.
This is the ambient technology, ambient IoT that's coming in. And 6G also coming in at this stage. So that's why you heard about new technology like 6G have been start to appear. So when they appear, it means that the previous generation is actually at the peak maturity. So nothing much you can improve. You can improve, but not much. And then after 5 years, it go down. The 6G will be peak at 2030.
Take over lah.
Take over. So 2030, 5G will be no longer be the main because so 6G will be up. So that's why whenever a country wants to choose a new which generation, so don't wait too long when it's already at the peak, but we will not join.
That's too late.
Too late. That's why macam 5G, maybe we are a little bit late in a sense, like 2 years. At 2022, that we see Malaysia baru nak start rolling out the 5G. So we have DNB, the network that responsible to launch the 5G. So it's 2 years a little bit late, but it's not that late lah. Kalau kita launch 2025, we are already at the peak.
Yeah.
So even you, I don't think you have 5G kan? Tak ada?
No, it's just you.
See, the i2Kin also doesn't have a 5G.
It's okay, I just go straight
Doesn't
to 60.
have a 5G phone.
Got. No one to tell lah. Tak apalah.
Ada.
Okay. Doctor, there's no comments from Sam or Sham Hardy. Thank you guys for watching.
Siapa?
Dengan Sham Hardy.
Okay.
Alright, so maybe I can wrap this up. Alright, Doctor, this episode really blew my mind. IoT isn't just about sensors anymore. It's about connecting the whole universe.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah. And like I always say, IoT isn't just about the technology lah. It's about improving and changing our life.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you want to explore IoT without borders, head over to www.favorite.com and start your journey today.
That's right, guys. IoT without borders, build resilient solutions now.
Alright. Okay, everyone, that's all for today's episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Favorite Sembang Santai for more exciting stories.
And this is Mazlan Abbas, aka IoT Man, signing off.
And this is Zura Huzali, the IoT Queen, signing off.
Bye.